are. We've got 4 candidates for this position. And one thing I haven't mentioned today so far is when you go to vote, you'll have all of your candidates, but you'll also have a mystery person on the ballot paper, and his name is Ron. Reopen nominations. Okay, and that means your chance, if you're not happy with any of the candidates, and there's no reflection on the candidates behind me that I'm saying this, that if you're not happy with any of the candidates, you can always vote to reopen the process, and that's what voting Ron is. Okay, so let me introduce you to the candidates we have here for welfare. And on my left-hand side, on your right, to the far side of that, is Joe Kerr. And next to him and next to me is Josh Gaskell. And then to my right and to your left is Becky Grimes. And the last of the 4, but not the least, is Josh Hale. Same format as before. Everyone gets a chance to speak for 2 minutes and to tell you why you should vote for them. And as I said before, be nice to everybody, treat them with respect, no heckling from the floor. Obviously, you can clap to encourage people if you want to do that, but make sure everyone's heard. So if everybody's feeling fit and ready, Joe, would you like to come up and speak for 2 minutes? Okay, Joe.
Hello everyone, my name is Joe Kerr and I'm running to be your welfare officer for next year for Swansea University Student Union. I'm a 3rd year international relations student and I'm in my 2nd year of working for the Students' Union. I've got 5 main manifesto points which I'd like to explain right now to why you should vote me. Number 1 is your welfare officer. Number 1, loan taxi rides. I want to work with Swansea taxi companies to create a scheme where if you are on your own, you're out, you've lost your friends, you've got no money, you can hand in your student card and then you can get a taxi home for free and then you can pay back the next day. Then my second point, number 2, is money management. As many students they have a limited amount of money and it's very hard to live on a budget. I want to make realistic budget plans for all students and I want to work with one-on-one basis with students if they feel the need so, or make general ones for all students so they can have a good university life but still not have to live at the bottom of their overdraft. My third one is healthy eating on a budget. As many students often rely on takeaways or unhealthy ready meals for convenience, you can still eat healthily, but on a budget. I want to make realistic recipes and meal plans so you can have a meal every day for cheaply, but you can also still live a healthy lifestyle. My third one is lighting through Singlington Park. The lighting situation at the moment is not great. Down one side there is no lights and the other one is not sufficient enough. I want to make sure that all students can feel safe when they are walking home through Singlington Park so they can feel like they are not being followed and they feel they're in a safe situation when walking home. My last point is the housing. I want to make sure that all landlords are up to scratch. I want to make sure they're fixing problems, not just painting over them. So if you like my ideas, then tomorrow vote Joe Kerr, number 1 for welfare.
Okay, that was Joe Kerr. And now we've got Josh Gaskell.
Hello. Third year history student and Welshman, I'm passionate about making your time at university as cosy as possible. You're going to be spending 3 years here. I want to make this house your home. University can often lack a certain comfort and warmth that is necessary for you to reach your full academic potential. There's no way you can have a fantastic education officer, but if you're living in some dank hole somewhere in Sketty with a tyrant of a landlord, there's no way you're going to get above a 2-2. How do I intend to fix this? Well, I want to focus on 2 areas that I'm terribly passionate about. Number 1 is community. Coming from a small village, I've seen the benefits of community. Not saying that my village is perfect, far from it. A little bit inbred, but it's lovely. Essentially, I want to work close to the community. I want to hold an annual volunteers fair during freshers, working with the community, for the community, and it looks good in your CV. Secondly, I want to do. I've chatted to people in the market, and they're keen of starting up a student discount scheme. Therefore, if we all, advertise their stall, cheap produce, local produce for local people. Fantastic, personally. Another one is to more personal level, on-campus welfare. What does this mean for you? I want to hold weekly sharing care circles where people can come and anonymously share amongst themselves with a professional present about their issues, about their problems. Also, I want to do a compilation of an online sort of cookery, self-help sort of videos, weekly editions within the community. So sharing experience. However, what else? Tutors on Toast. I know it sounds like a bit of a gimmick, but promoting responsible drinking through donating my own time to providing free toast at tutors, along with the continuation of free condoms and bin bags. But, okay, see you more. Thank you.
That was Josh Gaskell. And now we have Becky Grimes.
Hi, I'm Becky Grimes and I'm hoping to be your next Students' Union Welfare Officer. The job of a welfare officer is to represent every student to ensure they are supported and looked after in the best way possible. I really want to do this. There's been a 50% increase in the use of the wellbeing service in the past 2 years, and yet we still only have 1.35 counsellors for the entire student population. We've all had the countless emails saying wellbeing is closed and students are being turned away due to lack of staff. This is completely unacceptable. I will lobby the university to increase the staff and student services so you can have the support you need. Stemming from this, students should have instant advice whenever they need it, particularly during exam time. There is a serious issue in the lack of knowledge of where the advice centre is, let alone what the advice centre does. Students love the internet, and to be honest, if we could get instant advice from the comfort of our own home, wouldn't you rather do that? I would set up an instant messaging service open to all students who perhaps just want a little bit of help but are too embarrassed or worried to go into the advice centre themselves. A big issue that the advice centre deals with is housing. I will ensure you know your rights. Students are taken advantage of and this is wrong. Your advice should be accessible with SE support from freshers right through to graduation. We already have a contract check-in service as part of the advice centre, but it's poorly publicised and needs to be improved. I will ensure this free service is at the highest quality and well promoted so you can be confident in the housing choices you make. Support needs to be given from day one. Freshers, wherever they live, deserve to have support so they can get to grips with student life as soon as possible. I will lead a team of trained volunteers to help freshers with the moving process so they can guide and advise freshers through the first few days, giving them confidence in where they're living, knowing where to find help if they're struggling, but simply where to find tutors and where to find food. On the subject of food, eating on campus is expensive and possibly even more infuriating when you're trying to eat healthily. It's close to impossible. I will lobby the university to improve the options available as well as ensuring they are at a fair price. If other universities can do it, why can't ours? Vote Becky Ramson for welfare.
Okay.
That wasn't me the first. That was something outside.
Thanks, Becky. Yes, some unusual, rude interruption from the side of the tent, but I don't know who that was. It wasn't anybody inside. Okay, and it's now for Josh Hale.
That's got enthusiastic. Have a little space, sorry. Hello everyone, my name's Josh Hale. I'm hoping most of you would have met me by now. I've been here bloody long enough. Been here a couple of years. The last couple of years I've been president for Discovery. I've been trustee with them, which is also part of the role of being welfare officer for the union, is your trustee for the Students' Union. So I believe as well as kind of focusing on your welfare, I can focus on the welfare of the Students' Union with 2 years trustee experience to protect the union from, well, anything that could go wrong. My main manifesto points is I want to focus on a healthy lifestyle, focusing on the diet, well-being, finances, housing and environment. I'm currently studying nutritional psychology as one of my modules, and I want to launch a nutritious cookbook so students can eat their way to better grades. It sounds interesting, but it's really easy and doable. Just by changing the vitamins, minerals and nutrients in your diet, you can actually increase your grades by about 10 to 20%. So I want to do that as well as increasing your sporting potential and your well-being just by changing the way you eat. By launching a simple step-by-step cookbook, which is cheap, affordable, and targets students who can actually do it easily and in enough time of their own. Well-being is important because, as we know, well-being services are understaffed. I've had problems with mental health in my background, but I'm over that now, and I want to help other students do that as well. There's some fantastic services provided by the university, and I want to encourage students to use them and promote them where possible. Finances are always a problem, but we've got a fantastic money and advice service centre on campus, and I want to promote their work so all students know what they offer. Housing is always going to be a problem, but I want to continue Charlotte's great work of doing the housing survey and then make the results public and easy to use so students know which landlords to avoid and which ones are better, so we can promote good landlords, whereas slightly slating the ones that are quite bad. I want to focus a lot on community because I grew up in a small village and I started off my well-being by working as a church youth leader at home, and I want to continue working in small groups as well as the larger of Swansea and make everywhere nice, friendly, and make local people love students just as much as we love each other. I'm kind of very passionate about this role because I spent the last 4 years doing welfare, so thanks guys.
Okay, that was Josh Hale, and now we move on to the debate section. And the first question, I'll sit down again. First question is going to go to you, Joe, and it's going to be this. What's highest on your agenda for student welfare?
Mine is making sure that students feel that they can be safe when they're at university. When you are out, you can get home safe, you can make sure you can feel safe in your personal mind, that you can live in a house which is suitable to live in, to make sure you can feel safe so you can do the best possible you can in your degree, and you can get the best grade possible and come out of Swansea University with the best experience you possibly can.
Okay, so it's about feeling safe. How about you, Josh?
Personally, I don't think you could narrow that down to one thing. Welfare is my priority, and that encompasses the necessity of community, because obviously there's a lot of friction between some people in the town, some people, the students, and of course your mental and physical well-being is definitely high on my agenda.
Okay, so it's hard to single down to one thing for Josh. So let's go on to Becky and see what she thinks. What's your one thing, Becky?
I think it's really important that students don't feel like they're either getting ripped off or that they're alone in a situation, because I think that sometimes being a student becomes quite lonely if you're not part of a society or part of a sports team. You can feel quite neglected. So with that, I'd want to make sure that students can, even simple things as making sure you don't get ripped off on campus with cheaper food and making sure you can get access to healthy food, but also as well as with the wellbeing service, with students getting turned away when they're really upset and you get told, oh, sorry, babe, like you're going to get 6 counselling lessons, see you later. It's completely unacceptable and it's just not right. So basically making sure that students feel accepted, and in a community within students as well as the outside community, I think it's just so important that everyone just feels equal and respected and represented.
Okay, so it's about respect and feeling equal. And Josh, what do you think? What's highest on your agenda?
I have 2 points that are probably equal next to each other. One is my healthy lifestyle campaign, which I mentioned in my speech, which focuses the diet, the community, the environment, your finances and your well-being. But my second one is building for a better tomorrow. We're currently developing the second campus, and the student village is going to be demolished over the next couple of years. I want to make sure that student well-being and welfare is focused on throughout all of this, because at the moment no other candidate has mentioned the second campus, and it's going to be operational within the students' time which are here at the moment. Freshers will potentially be learning on that campus, and at the moment I don't think welfare's had enough of a priority there, and I want to make sure that the students there get the treatment that they get here. They shouldn't have to commute to this campus to get the well-being they need or the welfare they need. It should be equal across both campuses, and I want to make sure that when students start going there in the next couple of years, they have everything there they need.
Well, Josh, that leads nicely into my question I was about to ask you. You mentioned the second campus there. Obviously, we do some work in the community in Bryn Mill and Uplands. What would you look to do? What plans would you have to try and integrate the students into the local community from the second campus point of view?
Well, to integrate students there, I think we need a good community atmosphere, which I think it would be good to promote the work that Discovery do. As most of you know, I've been a trustee and a volunteer there for many years now, and I think they do some fantastic things. So I think that students need to make a positive impact from day one. I think if you advertise to students what volunteering opportunities they can get into in the local community down there, and show the community that having students there is a bonus, not a negative. I think all negatives of students can easily be overcome by the positives. It just needs good PR and easily management. With my last couple of years' experience in volunteering, I think that I could easily set up schemes in place so that the local community benefits more from having students there than loses.
Okay, so Becky, is it all about good PR and volunteering?
I think the students that do good work are getting completely neglected. I have friends that were doing Childline and Good Samaritan work, and do you know what? They just don't get the recognition for what they do. So I think there are quite a lot of students that do good work, and I think that they get completely neglected, as I just said. So make sure that there's services that are on the second campus that the community can use, and come and use that as well, and then also have students that do volunteering projects in the community, because loads of students are willing to do it. They just either don't know about it or are a bit nervous to kind of approach someone. So it's just kind of making sure that there is the access available and making it's just that kind of stuff, really.
Okay, we've got a lot of agreement between Josh and Becky there. Josh, do you have something different to offer?
I do. As part of my manifesto, I want to introduce monthly coffee mornings. I know it sounds a bit twee, but essentially what it is, it'll be an opportunity. Every month we'll have a different charity in this coffee morning based in the various respective communities, Sketty, Brimmill, Uplands, or, with the new campus out on East Swansea. But it'll also, aside from a fantastic opportunity to raise money for charity, it'll be an opportunity where me and hopefully the president will be there at the other end of the table to provide like a sort of surgery-style thing for the community to come and tell us their problems, to give them a face, because there isn't really a channel for the community to say, I've got really dodgy neighbours, they're playing music till 4 o'clock in the morning, I've got kids, I'm 74, I've got a dodgy hip. Do you know what I mean? It's a fantastic... And you've got to have that face, which they don't necessarily have at the minute.
Okay, so it's about tea, biscuits, coffee mornings, and talking to local people. Okay, what about you, Joe?
I completely agree with integration within the community. I think that students here in Swansea bring such a great atmosphere to Swansea, but we also need to remember the community. We need to, I think, promoting the things we already do, like litter pickings in Brimmill and Uplands, and helping students promote local businesses. If students start using local businesses, then the atmosphere of students and the view of students from the local community will increase. And we want to create a happy Swansea for all people, not just students, but for all people living all over Swansea.
Okay, great. Okay, my next question goes to Josh Gaskell. You told us earlier that if you were living in a dank house with a dodgy landlord, you wouldn't achieve more than a 2-2. So how are we going to improve the standards of the said house so that people could aim for a first?
Thank you. Again, continue the fantastic sterling work that's been done under Charlotte Britton for current welfare officer. High five. And with the landlord, you rate your landlord, also rigorous sort of letting them know that they can come to us, that we are there to fight your corner. I'm all about fighting for the standards you deserve in that respect. There are legal avenues which are able to pursue if needs be. I'm not very well accustomed to the courtroom, but I will don a wig and cloak if needs be.
Okay. So, Joe, before we see you donning a wig and cloak, what ideas have you got?
I want to make sure that all students know that the student union will be backing them if they are living in housing conditions which is not acceptable. Students should not be living in these sorts of houses, and I want to make sure that students know which landlords and which letting agencies will be promoting good houses, and not necessarily slate bad landlords, but ignoring them and showing which ones that the student union will be promoting, and trying to get this message across to all students in Freshers Week with your Welcome to Your House packages.
Okay, so promoting good landlords and having things like welcome to your house packages. Do you think that's a good way forward, Josh?
Yeah, it's a good idea. I think the best way to combat bad landlords is to arm students with their rights, so they know what they're entitled to, they know what they deserve, and they know what to do when they come across bad things. A lot of students come across the opinion that it's too late now, there's nothing I can do about it. But students do have rights. There is a standard that you should have, and I think if you arm them with the knowledge that they need, then landlords aren't going to bother trying to pull them over them, because students are being taken advantage of because they don't necessarily know what they're actually entitled to. If students all know what they're entitled to, then they're not going to put up with the bad quality. I think by promoting good landlords, the bad landlords are automatically going to have to up their game, or they're just going to fizzle out. If places at university are going to either go up or down, especially with splitting the campus, that means more students are going to be living down SA1 rather than at this end, there are going to be potential for some landlords that are going to have to get rid of their properties, and we need to make sure it's the bad ones that go and not the good ones. So we need to praise good landlords and make sure that the bad ones know that they either need to up their game or don't bother advertising to us.
Okay, so Becky, it's about making people aware of their rights and pushing out the bad landlords via that information. What do you think?
Actually, in my manifesto, I've got a contract checking system, like contract checking service. The advice centre already has it, but not many people are confident in using it. Not many people know about it. a lot of people do get caught out quite a lot with their contracts, just their contracts. It's not even about the fact that they get a little bit messed around during the year. They just get fully on, straight ahead. You sign away your life away, and it's completely just, you should have confidence in the contract that you're signing. I've been talking to people recently about how, like, some people have like 5 pages in the contracts, and I'm pretty sure I had about 12 on mine, and I didn't read it, and I'm lead tenant, and do you know what? I'm kind of struggling for that now, and that's not ideal. But so making sure everyone knows their rights, the situation that they're getting in, and it's just kind of, people are going to sign their lives away in November anyway, so it's like, admittedly it's not ideal, but making sure they have the confidence to know that if they are going to sign contracts in November or January or whenever, needs to make sure they're confident and they're happy with that, and then we'll support them throughout the year that they are actually living in the house as well.
Okay, great. So what I would like to hear from each of you now is that one thing that's going to inspire the voters to go out and click onto their mouse and vote for you. Okay, Becky, do you want to go first? What is that one thing?
It seems to be most people that I've spoken to are really annoyed about the price of food, just really frustrated that kids' bacon take has gone now. They can't just go somewhere and queue for like 5 minutes wherever and get a pasty and go. It seems to be people are really frustrated that they have to go to Costco or go to cafeteria. I'm not trying to be annoying or anything, sorry, but it's just, there should be more options, and you should have more healthy options and cheaper options, so people don't feel that when they have an hour between lectures that they are struggling for choice, because other universities don't seem to have that problem, and I just don't really see why Swansea does. So vote Becky, please. Thanks.
Okay. So if you vote for Becky, you're going to be getting good range of healthy options to eat at lunchtime. Okay, on to Josh. Your one thing.
One thing. Well, it's going to have to be my mental support groups, self-help groups, and the agony aunt sessions on Extreme Radio, because actually student suicides have actually increased by 50% in the past 4 years, according to the Times Education Supplement. So this is an issue that really does need to be addressed.
Okay, so it's about agony aunt and support for students. Okay, what about you, Joe?
I'd just like to say, it's your union, it's your experience. You vote on the manifesto you believe that is going to make the most difference to Swansea. If that's my manifesto, I hope it is, then please vote Joe Care #1 for welfare.
Okay, thanks, Joe. And Josh, what's your 1 point for everybody out there?
My 1 point for everyone out there is I want you guys to all remember my experience. Remember that I personally believe I can go straight into this role and do well. I want to be proactive rather than reactive. I want to tackle problems before they become a big issue, because if you tackle something while it's small, it's not going to develop into something big, especially that focusing on the campus. If I get welfare sorted before students are there, the next welfare officer isn't going to have to fight for welfare, because it's going to be there before students have realised they've not got something they need. So I want to be proactive rather than reactive, and I think that is definitely something that we all need to remember.
So voting for Josh is getting a proactive man with experience. Okay, well, that concludes this Hust. And if all of the candidates could be kind enough to speak to the guys from Waterfront and do some interviews with them as well, they'd love to be able to pick things up. Sam's just waving. She's about a third of the way down there, so if you go and chat to her, that would be great. So, who have we had on stage for this Hust? Well, I'll just cover that for you. Right, we've had Joe Kerr. We've had Josh Gaskell. Becky Grimes. And Josh Hale. Okay, you can vote for these guys online between 8 and 8, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Please go and vote. Thanks very much.